everyone, and welcome to another edition of Jays Talkin. Matt and Andrew here to bring some baseball talk from our living rooms to yours. Be sure to go follow us on social media at Dunedin Blue Jays on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Today's guest was a second-round pick out of Duke in the 2018 MLB Draft. Please welcome Griffin Conine. Griffin, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
We're doing great, man. Just finding out where we're going to play baseball here pretty soon.
Yes, sir. All in the same boat here, just waiting.
So what have you been doing? What's been going on during quarantine here in Florida, man?
Not a whole lot, Cases are, obviously Florida's one of the hot spots in the country right now. So just been staying inside as much as I can and got, everything I need here in my house in Florida. So I'm pretty set up and just been working on progressing and both in the gym and with swing changes I'm trying to make. So it's been good.
You said you and your dad built a cage up there. How's that been going?
Yeah. We had a lot of commutes to Home Depot about 3 weeks in to the quarantine in April, and then it went up pretty quick. We have like a basketball court kind of area, sport court deal in the back. So just drilled 4 holes and into the concrete there and put some poles up and draped a net, and it's good to go. So we got a pitching machine too, one of those little hack attacks. So I just hit off that pretty much every other day and get the work in.
Is that a quarantine stash, or is that something that's always there?
No, this is actually me and Nick Podkol we're planning on unveiling it for the season, but that never happened. So I don't know. I've just stuck with it. I think he has since ditched his, which makes sense, and I probably should as well.
I didn't know Nick could grow facial hair. I got to be honest.
He begs, he does whatever he can, but it was coming in pretty good. And then, obviously the season didn't happen, and now we just kind of look dumb.
So besides the cage, have you been watching any Seinfeld? We heard you're a big Seinfeld guy. You've been catching up on any Seinfeld episodes?
Yeah, actually, I'm actually getting my mom and dad into it now because they had never watched it. I guess they're Friends people, which I've given them a lot of flack about because they didn't really watch it ever when it was on. But we've been every morning, crank out a couple episodes. It's best show of all time, no question. Can't argue. As far as sitcoms go, best one.
What's Griffin Conine's favorite episode of Seinfeld?
I was actually talking about that recently. That's tough. I think I'd have to go Merv Griffin show in season 9, which is rare because Larry David left after 7. And a lot of people aren't fans of the last 2, but I thought that's one of my all times.
Yeah, those last couple of seasons are pretty good, even without Larry David. You still have Jerry writing a lot of the episodes there too.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
So you were born in Plantation, Florida. Was there ever a time you didn't think you were going to be playing baseball growing up?
Yeah, actually, it was pretty late that became like a serious goal. It was kind of a thing that I just always I've always played just because obviously had the reasons to, and it's not that I didn't like it, I just didn't really, I don't think, take it seriously until probably junior year of high school, because that's kind of, I had like a big growth spurt and started to do I only had 1 homer career in anything until junior year of high school. So obviously that wasn't very fun for me, so I didn't like it very much. And then I kind of put on a lot of weight going into junior year, had a good summer, and then started hitting homers, and then I started to like it. So I was like wanted to play in college at that point, and my parents, obviously I was like such a late bloomer that a lot of guys were committed already, so I was kind of a late selection, but ended up going to Duke, which turned out pretty well. Had a good time, and that's it.
And besides your pops, who were some of your favorite ball players growing up?
I'd have to go Ugla and Stanton were kind of my guys. Obviously Stanton was he was a rookie, like right when my dad was kind of getting out of the game on 08 or 07 there. But that guy was, when he was coming up, I was kind of just, one of my favorite guys to watch. Just never had seen the kind of power that he brought to the table. And obviously, being a power guy myself, that was kind of the guy I looked to just to, his approach and how hard he swung basically. And then obviously Uglo is just the man, his forearms are bigger than most people's legs. So that guy was fun to watch too. And I was infielder for all my career until 10th or 11th grade. So Dan Uglo, he actually gave me his cleats one time. And he had these super cool like teal Nike cleats. And he wore the same size as me when I was 14. So he hooked me up with a pair of these cleats. And I wore them in travel ball, which made no sense. I looked like an idiot because we were maroon. Our colors were all maroon, and then I had these teal cleats. Everyone probably hated me. Yeah, super nice guy. And those two guys were kind of my favorite guys around that time.
You still have the cleats?
I don't think I do. I don't know what happened to them. I mean, I'm sure I wore them every day for like a year when I was 14. So you can imagine the, travel ball, what kind of wear they got. So I think they didn't make it.
So you talked about your junior year in high school. You hit 468 after that growth spurt, won Broward High School Hitter of the Year. And then into your senior year, you hit 341 with all county honors. How much did your coach, Wayne Stofsky, help with your development as a player at a high school?
Yeah, Stofsky was awesome. He's actually really good friends with we're really good friends with the Stofskys in general. His wife taught my brother in second grade in elementary school. So they come over all the time actually still. So we're good friends with them. But he was just super I thought he did really well dealing with all the attention that scouts were, because we had Zach Cohn too, who was possible super high draft pick, and he went to Duke with me as well. And we had a couple other seniors that were college guys that scouts were looking at. So he did an awesome job with like dealing with all that and kind of making it seem as easy for us as he could, just like making it normal. And obviously we didn't sign at the time, but we had colleges coming too, and he was the most professional guy I think dealing with that we could have had.
And then was it a hard decision for you to turn down the Marlins offer when you got drafted out of high school and then to go to Duke? And did you have other options other than Duke that you were deciding between before going to college?
Yeah, so easy call just to go to college. Just that was definitely the right step for me. I wasn't ready for pro ball at the time. I knew that, and I think the Marlins knew that. It was kind of a courtesy, to just what my dad did for them in the organization and in the time he put in. So obviously it was super cool to get that call, and kind of just a fast forward of, when I would really get the call and knew I would, it would be the team I was going to be with, but still really cool. And college wise, it kind of came down to Duke, Wake Forest, and Rice were the final three that were being decided upon. And Rice was the first offer, and I wanted to kind of sign right away just because it was it's your first offer. Every high school player that plays in college knows that feeling. So parents made me hold out, and then I visited Duke the next weekend. And right after the visit, once we're done, got back in the van, I was like, all right, this is it, kind of. Yeah, it was awesome.
So you get to Duke, you step on campus. Were you ever a Cameron crazy at Duke, or did you stay away from the basketball court?
No, we went plenty. I never actually did. So my buddy from high school, Antonio Vrankovic, played on the team all 4 years. We were the same year. He's from Croatia. He was like a 7-footer that played at our high school. So we became pretty good friends going into college. And then he would kind of he got like a bunch of tickets every game and didn't use them most of the time. So he would kind of give us the 4 that he had. Basically whenever we asked that it wasn't a big game. So got to go a lot. Never actually went in the student section. So, I kind of regret that, but it was madhouse over there.
So your freshman year, you appeared in 35 games. Your first collegiate hit was actually a walk-off. Were there any nerves going into that at bat?
Oh yeah, all nerves. Freshman year in general was a lot of just nerves. Just obviously, going into a new team that, everyone was the best player on their team that came there. Yeah, I was, in general, just kind of freshman year was tough, just getting a grip on everything and yeah, that at bat I still remember it obviously, and that was awesome, just being able to get us that win, because that got us the series against Cal too, which was a big deal, just because we were kind of this team that was kind of trying to make the jump at that time to becoming, kind of like an A-list college baseball program. We were just kind of like that second tier spot when I got there. And then obviously, as the years progressed, we got, better and better. And now they're a top 10 team perennially, which is pretty cool to see.
Your sophomore year, you started all 58 games. You competed in the college home run derby. How fun was that experience for you?
Yeah. That was unbelievable. That field was, just obviously you see it on TV, it's the College World Series field. So it was a little weird being there, not with a team, just on your own, but taking it in, and definitely getting to use the BSR bats was cool. Since, we didn't even use them. Last time I'd used one was the 8th grade, because they passed the BB core rule going into high school. So that was fun, just hitting with those trampolines. And then, I got to see Nico Holsizer, who I've, played against last season as well, and had a really good year in the Midwest League. And he eventually won it, which was cool. He was, first day in BP, he was hitting, and I was shagging the outfield, and I was like, I don't know who this kid, we hadn't met yet. We kind of just went straight into BP, and I was like, this dude's going to win it. There's no way. He was like hitting pop-ups that were going like 20 rows back. So yeah, unreal pop, and that was cool to see.
On April 12th, Duke was down 9-4. You hit 2 home runs to help lead 12-10 comeback versus Campbell. Is this one of your favorite college memories? And what's the mood like in the dugout when you're down like that, but you're clawing back?
Yeah. That definitely is. Actually, that was one of the first times. That was kind of later in sophomore year. I think the second one that game was like probably the 10th or 11th of the year. And in the post game on the bus, I remember Coach Pollard was kind of he was just like, because he always gives these super, no matter how the game goes, he's just so regimented and strict, super like military upbringing, and he always, we could beat a team 20-0, and he'd just go straight to like, good job, getting your lead by Joey Loperfido here, and he's kind of just that guy. But this game was the one time he was just like, well, I'm just glad we had Conine on our team today, which was pretty cool, just because he never does that. Like, he never gives anyone, direct credit like that. And that was probably like the highlight, just, getting that out of him, just because he's such a stern guy. But we became pretty close over the years, so he's a great guy.
Your junior year, you were the first Blue Devil to record back-to-back 50 RBI seasons since 1993. You were also the first Blue Devil to record double-digit home runs in back-to-back seasons since 2008. You hit a 497-foot home run versus Gardner Webb, the longest in college baseball that season. When it left the bat, did you know it was going that far, and did you pimp it and stare at it for a minute?
Yes and no. I knew it was going far. Didn't pimp it really. I never got really any good pimps, which I'm ashamed of in a way. I had a couple decent ones, but I see these guys now that guys I played with that are, I see videos of them at Duke, and they're kind of like doing bat flips, and I'm like, that's cool. Wish I could have pulled that off. But I kind of just gave it a look and go straight into the jog. That was kind of my go-to. But yeah, no, I knew it was gone, but just heard in the dugout, guys because I tweeted it like during the game, the media team, and I guess one of the trainers or something saw it, and that was crazy. But that was fun.
And you talked about it a little bit earlier. You had Pinecrest alum Zach Cohn with you every step of the way. How awesome was that for your college experience to have somebody that you played with high school with into college?
Yeah, absolutely. That was, the hardest thing I think about college, and for anyone, is just, you're meeting all new people, and you're in a foreign place. So going into that, knowing someone that you've known, at least 4 years, at least in our situation, was really cool. Just being able to kind of go through that process with someone that had your back, basically. So that was fun.
What do you think you learned the most from going from getting drafted in the 31st round to then going to Duke and then getting drafted all the way in the second round? What do you think you learned the most at Duke?
It's a good question. I would say one of the biggest things Coach Pollard instilled in all of us was just making the most you can of every single day. You know, attacking every day. You know, however you want to put it. Basically, just be in the moment. It's kind of his. You know, he'll say it a million times, and we all joke with each other about it now. But it's really, you know, the most you can get out of every day is important, just because if you can continue that and be consistent and over the course of a year, 2 years, you start to see big changes, which is kind of his that's his go-to inspirational bit, and I think it resonated a lot with all of us.
So you get drafted in the second round, and then you make your way to Vancouver eventually, and then you get to play in the All-Star game for the Northwest League. What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was we went to Grand Junction, Colorado, and that was interesting because I didn't know it was kind of confusing how it worked, because we actually played. So it was an all-star team from the or the Northwest League, or what was that? Whatever league it was. We played the Pioneer League, an all-star team from their league. So it was kind of two different leagues. It wasn't actually just our league, all the all-stars playing each other. So that was kind of new. And they hosted at the Pioneer League side, because I guess we had hosted the year before. So that was really cool. And, you know, being in the Home Run Derby also was fun. You know, I don't do well in those, you know, in my career. Never have. But I still always sign up to do it when they ask me. I say, yeah, I'll do it. But I don't know what it is. I can't put it together out there. But that was, yeah, again, super cool, because we had our coaching staff there too, because we had won the previous year. So that was fun to have all the guys there.
We've heard a story. Vancouver is not the smallest park in the world. We've heard a story that you hit a home run ball that went over the center field wall. There was a scout there that day that says that they've been scouting that place for 10, 12 years, and they've never seen a ball go out of that over the center field wall until you did it. Do you remember that home run and what that feeling was?
Yeah, of course. That was my first one, first pro ball homer. So obviously, you know, not going to forget that one. And I just remember, you know, I was as shocked, I think, as anyone else was, just because you hitting BP at that place every day, and you won't see a homer for weeks to the right side, to center or right side, I should say. You know, got the hey y'all porch and left. So righties, you know, are fine, but so yeah, for whatever reason, right field and like center and right, it would just go nowhere. So I guess that day, you know, must have caught a headwind or something from above, because it snuck out the center.
So you got to Lansing, your second game, you had 12 total bases in that one game. What do you contribute your hot start to in Lansing?
That was definitely just a result of all the work we could do in extended, just because it was a really unique kind of extended. Is, you know, any guy will tell you it's not fun, you know, as they say. But for me, actually, it was kind of you know, something I needed just for the swing, and you know, trying to, you know, mend out some issues that I had faced in my first year in Vancouver. You know, obviously not the start I wanted that season to pro ball. So me and you know, Hunter Mentz, who's the hitting coordinator now, we had really worked every single day, just machine work, you know, fastballs, just as much as I could put in play, you know, working on just high velo fastballs and seeing you can do damage, how often you could do it. And I think it just got, you know, the first few weeks were brutal, just because I was the drills I couldn't do them. You know, my swing was in a bad spot, and I couldn't hit a machine, you know, consistently. And then by the end of, like, you know, the last 2 weeks, I think I had like 4 or 5 homers in those last 2 weeks in inter squad or extended games. And that was kind of just like me being like, all right, like, I'm ready to go. You know, I'm locked in. So I was as ready as I could have been, you know, for that first game.
It's kind of a famous video of a few guys in Lansing practicing your home run bat flips. Tell us a story about how that started.
Yeah, captured by Emily Walden, who's she's a great beat writer for the Tigers that has a really cool Twitter account, and obviously been a follower, you know, since that video. Yeah, that was just, the guys, late in the season, you're kind of in the dog days of summer, heat's starting to get to your head, and we just, kind of made a circle out there. I think Tanner Kerwer started it just by saying, how much distance he thought he could get on a bat flip. Like, realistically, if you're doing it right after the swing, because I was like, if you're doing it from right here, you're not going to get that much distance. And he was like, I know I can get 20 feet plus easy. So that's kind of how that started. And then obviously, Emily had the camera on us. So he saw it on the news later. So Tanner was, calling his parents to turn on the news. I guess it was on the news in Canada, because that was a big story up there. Yeah, it was funny.
So you were poised to make your way to the FSL this season. It's known as a pitchers league by a lot of people. How much were you looking forward to the challenge in 2020, which could now be 2021?
Yeah, I was, really looking forward to it, especially obviously, they had a tough situation last year with the field being renovated and everything, as far as home field, and with that all being done, and getting to play a couple games over there in spring training, it was awesome environment. So really was looking forward to being able to play half our games there, and obviously as ready as I could have been for the challenge of the pitching, and you hear so much about it, and it's really hard to have a successful season offensively in that type of environment. But I think I was ready for it. So whenever we can do it, I'm game.
Is it a little more special to you for a stop to get to play in the Florida State League, being from Florida?
Yeah, to an extent, for sure. I think the biggest part would just be the parents having the easy commute, getting to see games, because obviously the first couple of years, it's pretty far. Vancouver is about as far from Florida as you could possibly get, and then Lansing also not super close by. So that they were excited probably more than I was about that. But that's definitely cool to be close to home.
What do you miss most about not playing baseball right now?
Probably the team relationships, camaraderie, being in the clubhouse. I think, most guys would probably say that if you ask them. And just, getting to compete against people. It's pretty weird just being, isolated like this for this long, just because you're so used to being around 30 guys every single day, which is, not many people have that kind of team environment every single day. So it's a little weird, and that's probably what guys are missing the most, I'd say.
With the minor league season officially canceled, we kind of talked about, you got the cage going, you got the gym going. How else are you working on continuing your development? Well, the biggest thing right now is just I'm trying to kind of repattern the swing. And I've been working with Hunter Bentz, as much as I could in spring training, and even through this time, we're exchanging video and comments, and I think it's pretty cool. The swing that everyone's used to, it's going to look a lot different when we start back up again. Closed off stance now, which is pretty new. It took a national pandemic for me to finally not have an open stance anymore. But I think, I'm shocked I didn't do it sooner, just because I'm starting to really figure out how, my individual body works and what's going to work for it as far as having a consistent swing. New stance, new setup, feels very good right now. So, we'll see how it feels in live at bats.
Obviously, Rogers Center is going to be the top of this list for you when you make it to the majors in a stadium that you want to play in. But is it going to be a little special? Have you ever thought about wearing that Blue Jays jersey in the stadium or area where your dad played so many years, won 2 World Series championships in Miami? Do you ever think about that as well? Yeah, to an extent, for sure. It's a little different just because it's a unique situation where he played and where I almost grew up. The old Florida Marlins field is kind of I think that would have been a lot more special, just because that was kind of where I watched him play, and the Miami Marlins stadium were a little more
disconnected from. You know, obviously saw tons of games there, and he was still a big part of the organization for a few years after that. But it'll still be for sure, you know, having all the family and friends that are around, you know, around that area, being able to see me. So that's probably, you know, the most accurate answer I could give.
And traveling around with your dad, I had to ask, what is one of your favorite ballparks you ever been to when you're traveling around with your dad?
That's a good one too. I'd have to say, I mean, Fenway was awesome. You know, Fenway is just a classic park. As far as comfort goes, probably not at the top of the list, just because, you know, they really haven't changed it for 100 years, which is crazy. But that, you know, that's why it is the way that it is. So that was probably one of the most, you know, most genuine, I think, baseball experiences that anyone should have. And then, I mean, yeah, we saw the new Yankee Stadium a few years back, and that was just like, those are just the two sides of the spectrum as far as, you know, the nice stadium versus, you know, the old baseball timey stadium. But yeah, that stadium was unbelievable. Just like, you know, they had the marble in the concourse. They had like these pillars that looked like a Greek, you know, an old Greek, I don't even know. It was, it was unreal just seeing like, that's like a baseball field. You wouldn't even think if you're just walking around. But those are probably, you know, Red Sox, Yankees, I guess. Didn't mean to do that, but, you know, it is what it is.
Two places you hopefully get to play a lot in the future.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
We want to say thank you, Griffin, for taking some time to sit down and talk some baseball with us. Anything you'd like to say to the Dunedin Blue Jay fans out there?
I guess just, you know, we're all waiting to play just like you guys are. So we're all ready, I can tell you that. And, you know, whenever it's going to happen, you know, we're excited to be there.
Thank you, Griffin. Fans, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Jays Talkin. Matt, Andrew, and Griffin Conine signing off.
Thanks, guys.